Hey y'all, welcome to a new and very original series here. Life's full of disappointments, and cars are no exception. Luckily, this game right here gives us the chance to right those automotive wrongs. So, let's fix some IRL cars. So, today we'll be looking at the Toyota GT86, Scion FRS, Subaru BRZ, and no, let me start by saying this isn't a bad car. I've driven one, they're great. But when they came out, and especially today, the biggest complaint about the 86 is the lack of power. 200 horsepower isn't bad, but the problem was what the car competed with. Sure, it handled better than one, but a base V6 Mustang could smoke it off the line for the same price. And we all know, for better or for worse, the 86 had a Subaru Boxer 4, but even Subaru itself gave no love and never brought the turbo over from the WRX, which was a huge disappointment. But today we'll be looking at this alternative history that goes back to when the 86 was still a concept. Originally, the car is reported to have a Toyota GR series engine with a turbocharged V6. Obviously, that was a little ambitious for Toyota at the time, and today, my choices will be reflecting that. But the big what if is, what if the FRS BRZ 86 got a small displacement V6 instead of the meh Subi Boxer 4? Toyota, oddly enough, already had a small V6, the 4GR FSE that made its way into the Lexus IS250. So let's recreate that. It was probably made to compete with the Mercedes M272, which is a criminally underrated engine with a bad reputation. But that's another video for another day. And I'm just kind of looking over at the Wikipedia page as I'm making this. It is a V60, so it's a narrow angle V6, which is really unique, with 6 cylinders, an aluminum block, stroke is 87 millimeters, which is 3.03 inches, a short stroke, and bore is 3.27. That sounds about right. And it is dual overhead cam, with 4 valves per cylinder, I think. Compression is 12.0 to 1, very high compression, small displacement engine. But that's what makes it fun. We'll mess with the cam profile and stuff afterwards just to try and match the reported horsepower. 6,400 RPM redline, needs that cat. I'll just say dual reverse flows. So it's not making huge power yet. Considering lowering, well, I don't really want to lower compression, but I will reduce ignition time. So I might run it a little richer. We're still not even to the power that the naturally aspirated 4 makes. That's okay though. We're gonna bump this up, give it a really linear horsepower band. So, pretty straight line there. Makes quite a bit of torque low on, makes peak torque almost at the same time it makes peak horsepower. Well, not peak, but high. Make it a little more. That looks pretty good. Just trying to squeeze as much power as I can out of it, but let's see how it sounds. Does sound nice. Designing this thing is going to be a pain in the ass just because automation doesn't really have a body style that really matches it, which is fine. You know, it's not a game about recreating cars, but you know, I'm gonna do my best. I think the headlights will be the hardest part here, just because automation has some weird looking headlights. Yeah, you know, I'd say these are quite a bit like 86 headlights. I think this was kind of a good find. Now to find a grill. Another iconic little FRS thing are the little vents that go there. So let me see if I can find one that kind of mimics it. One of these, perhaps. And they are fake vents too. Good job, Toyota. Yeah, you know, I'd say that looks pretty accurate. It might be a little more badass than a FRS actually is, but that's okay. We can just say we're remaining a little more true to the concept. You know, we can trim the body down a little bit. It's just a little thick in the back, you know? These... yeah. looks pretty good. Let's see if we can change this color. Yeah, there we go. That's pretty cool. I'm not sure I like this little plastic bit here. I might just make it the body color. Yeah, you know, this body style isn't the best, but we're gonna roll with it. So the rear might be a little trickier to handle. The rear has very cool looking taillights that I've always loved. So let's see if automation is something that kind of matches it. It's not the same, but it could work. It's a little big. No, let's try these. These are more like Mercedes taillights, but that's okay. Not really a fan of these either. Actually, that's not bad. It's not bad. With 2 exhaust outlets, I'm thinking one of these, specifically this one. Let's see if we can get that body derp. Okay, alright. That looks a little more badass than an actual 86, but that's okay. And then let's get... So, some special editions had... Actually, you know, it might have been all Euro models. Got this little spoiler on the back. Well, I guess it's more of a wing. But it's very small and very subtle. Something like this. Oh, it's not small. More subtle. There we go. It's a pretty big, low wing. That's okay. Looks nice. A lot of Beamers have this too. But I think it looks pretty cool on this car. So, of course, the car has to be rear-wheel drive and a 6-speed manual. And this I often find is the hardest part of automation. Their gearing system is just terrible. But, you know, I'll try and get something right. In fact, I'm actually going to go to the... Do we want an LSD? See, I think on the actual car, a limited slip diff was actually an option. Which is kind of amazing to me. We want to keep costs down because at the end of the day the FRS is still a pretty affordable sports car, and I do want our improved model to reflect that, despite the fact that the body style looks something more like an i8 or... I don't know, those are kind of reminding me of like 350Z taillights now, but whatever, we'll go for it. We'll say that these people got the sport package. Tires, of course. Sports compound. So, standard cars actually come with 16-inch wheels with Yokohama 205/55 tires on all 4 wheels. So, one thing that surprised me when I drove the car, I drove it pretty hard the one time I've been in one, the brakes are not very good in stock form. They come with vented in the front and just regular in the rear, but shockingly, they're only 2 piston in the front, solid disc 1 pistons in the rear. The thing handles well, but stopping power is not great. So I know that this is like where the magic happens on the actual 86, but I suck at automation suspension tuning. I can never get it right when I start exporting to Beam, so I'm just gonna go with standard sport presets. That's just what it's set as. I'm not gonna touch it, not gonna worry about it. Yeah, so I've been messing with the spacing in the gearing, and I can't really get it below 6.66 seconds, which is beautiful. Here we are with our slightly trimmed down FRS clone. I don't know if the design is an improvement. I mean, it looks okay. God, these wheel arches are bad. Well, here we are in Beam, and if you hear some high-pitched whirring noises, that's just my computer begging for God to put it out of its misery. It actually doesn't look that bad. Yeah, it sounds like a pretty generic, like, small V6. That's okay. Yeah, I don't hate it. Let's turn traction control off and see how it goes. I am playing with a controller, because I'm an elite gamer. least I'm not using mouse and keyboard. So first impressions, it's pretty tight. It's really wide. The tires are quite small. I didn't even realize that. God, can it do drifts or burnouts or anything? We have to lock the rear diff. Let's try that again. Yeah, there we go. I hit automatic locker. I don't know why it's got the manual locker on right now, but yeah. Okay, alright. It's not that bad. It's not slow. It sounds good. Yeah, I don't hate it. Let's see how it can stop. 80 to 0. Yeah, you know, that's not too bad. Not the best car I've ever made in this game, but, you know, anything that can do, like, little burnouts and donuts, that's fine. 121, okay. So just yeet ourselves off. Yeet! Beautiful. Just do like a small overlap front crash test at about 55. Actually, that's quite safe. Alright, it's time for a bruh moment. A 2-lap time trial. Let's see how it goes so we can get a lap time. I don't really have anything to compare it to, just because this is the first episode in the series, but let's not worry about that. A little tight there. Come on, give me... Oh, okay, hang on. We gotta turn traction control off. Okay, traction control off, rear diff locked. Take 2. It's gonna be better this time. Okay, maybe this thing doesn't really handle that well. Take 3. Just gonna take it around nice and gentle. Okay, it wants to oversteer a little bit. I don't think the actual car has enough power to do that, but this one does. Oh god, it understeers a little bit too. Not the best car I've ever made. Okay, here we go. This is where it's gonna excel. Putting the power down. Flat out. It's not very fast, is it? Okay, that was a good corner. Brakes aren't as bad as I was making them out to be. God. The turning's not great. Oh, that understeer, Jesus Christ. Admittedly, I didn't come into that great, but... Oh, okay, alright, little oversteer. That was my own fault. Oh, Christ, there goes our wing. Alright, we're gonna keep going. Yeah, not the best car I've ever made. It's a little unstable. It doesn't actually handle very well. The brakes are not as good as I thought. We're just gonna go with that first lap time. 2:45.39. We're not gonna worry about it. So, our version of the 86, it didn't come out great. I mean, I guess the engine's a little better than the original Boxer 4 that Subaru put in there, but, you know, I think trying to recreate the 86 really hinted at what is so special about it, and that is the handling. I mean, this car handles really well in reality. You can find videos of it keeping up with, like, older 911s on the track, just by virtue of just how tight it is, how well it turns in, and I definitely didn't recreate that with this car. But, you know, we're gonna have fun with this series. So can the FRS be improved? Yes. Is it worth it? Probably not. Toyota's got a good thing going, and I don't know if they should change it too much. Thanks for watching, guys.